recording and start streaming. So we can always give it a second. And the cool thing about the stream is now it'll start recording. So let's see. And then I got to go back to the dashboard. Let's boom. Okay. And then do you have the stream up so you can see people typing? Type, 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 type.
Yes. Yes, I do.
Yeesh. All right. Perfect. And did you share on Facebook? You gotta get us out, Zach.
No,
What?
I did it. How do I do that?
uh, you should just be a button that says, "Well, if you just like it or whatever." I think I don't know. I'm a bad Facebooker.
I'm not on Facebook right now.
Oh, freaking
I
Zach.
just got it.
Did you figure it
Okay,
out?
maybe on my phone.
That's hilarious. All right. All right. Let's get ready to start. Um,
Boom, shared it.
boom. All right, brother. If you want to start, take it off. Let's start the intro.
The most important step a man can take. It's not the first one, is it? It's the next one. Always the next step. Dalinar Colin from the Oathbringer book by Brandon Sanderson. And now take it away, Jake. Let's tell the people what we're doing here.
Yeah, welcome to the Geekfit podcast, where we are trying to walk the line between order and chaos, living the most meaningful lives possible. Zach, what is chaos?
Chaos can be the spice of life, or it can be overwhelming circumstances that challenge you and force you to grow. Dark night of the souls type of stuff.
And order is consistency, putting in the work day in and day out, and it can also mean becoming too rigid and breaking during the chaos. Um,
That's right, because you've got to balance your order and your chaos, and you've got to kind of walk the line between them. It's a constant struggle, but it's the path that we feel and that we've experienced leads to the most meaningful and fulfilling and productive life.
yeah, isn't that the truth? All right, let's see. We need to get some bumpers now for news. um, Okay, so I've created a Facebook page. So anybody out there, follow us on Facebook. It's just Geekfit page. I got to get better at Facebook. I know I created a page, but as far as the exact domain on that, I'll have to figure that out. I'm a bad streamer slash podcaster. Then I made a YouTube video. I made a YouTube channel. It's Geek Fit Min Max IRL. So that's kind of what we're trying to do here is min max in real life. And then we have our Twitch, which we're streaming to right now, which is GeekFit or twitch.tv/GeekFit, but GeekFit is spelled G33KF1T. And
Yeah.
if anybody thinks that's super annoying, you can thank Zach.
Oh.
uh, check out our upcoming streams on Twitch. We're gonna do workouts. Tune in for gaming. We're gonna start doing a blog. We're getting our websites going up soon. We're gonna start getting a blog up. It's gonna have the workouts we're gonna be doing, so you guys can follow along. We're gonna start having workouts based on basically like we like to call it normal, heroic, and mythic. Scaled however you can. So we'll have like squats, but if you're having a hard time getting down, we'll have like chair squats. Or if air squats are too much for you, we'll do like burpees or something. We'll scale it up and down because Zach is a masochist like that, and he can he can make them as hard or as easy as you want.
It's true. It's all about just whatever individual and taking it just outside that comfort level.
Yeah, isn't that the truth? Because that's where we grow. Um,
Yep.
Okay, so next up is we're going to get an email, but on on our videos and on Facebook. If you'd like to ask us questions, if you have different questions you'd like to ask about, different things we talk about and different workouts and where to start, or if something we're doing is not working for you, please hit us up. That would be awesome. Oh, and the last thing is we're going to start a Patreon soon. So we'll also have that going. Okay, Zach. So this last week in gaming, what have you been playing? What have you been doing?
Well, Saturday is pretty much the only day that I have to play games. So I played a little World of Warcraft with you. We did burpees, and that was a brand new experience. I kind of like it. Like
Yeah,
our idea totally works. It's fun to work out and play video games, which that was my first time, so that was exciting.
yeah. Speaking of dealing
Besides
with
some,
chaos,
yeah,
you had your
yeah,
kids with you. Oh my gosh. Oh.
yeah. So yeah, that was hard, and they're a big part of my daily like exercise. Like I carry them around. They try to punch me in the nethers. I roughhouse with them. It's really fun. But other than that, after that, I played a little God of War, some Dark Souls, and some Bloodborne. I guess I just like suffering. I don't know.
I was gonna say,
Um,
isn't Dark Souls and Bloodborne like the same thing?
Pretty much. Bloodborne's a little bit different in that you don't have a shield. You kind of counter with your gun, and you can change your weapon from a one-hander to a two-hander, and it's a little bit. They're different, but kind of the same feel, and they're all really hard. God of War was actually pretty tough for me too. I haven't been playing games as much as I used to, so everything's hard, but it's all really fun. So,
I
what
had
have
a
you been up to game wise?
Well, it was real quick. I had a guy at work say that God of War, he called it God of Quick Time, because he says there's just so many quick time battles in there. Is that true?
Yeah, like the whole, well, I haven't played it very much at all, but it seems like the whole strategy is to get enough stun damage on the tough enemies so that you can quick time execute them and become invulnerable for a second and catch your breath and try and game yourself for the next opponent that's going to be ready to take you out. It's really fast paced and it's pretty tough. There's a lot going on, at least for me.
What has been okay, so Dark Souls, Bloodborne, God of War. What's your favorite right now?
Um, Gosh, I had the most fun playing World of Warcraft doing Geekfit,
Oh yeah?
but I've played, but Dark Souls is the one I've played the most of. My cousin Jeff has kind of helped me through the game in co-op, and that game is really fun and sometimes really annoying because people who are like super overpowered invade your world and just kill you for no reason other than to just show you how much more time they've played the game than you. I don't
Show
know.
you their EP.
Next time I'm just not even gonna I'm just gonna stand there and not I'm just gonna let them kill me because I
Just
have no chance
just give them the
anyways.
middle finger. You're like, "Fine."
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I really want to play God of War. I don't have a PlayStation though, so I think I need to borrow my brother's PlayStation because he's played through it. But oh my gosh, all I've heard about is the story is awesome. The whole
It's a
Viking
really cool
theme
story.
is amazing. Yeah, yeah.
It's
So
really cool how you're like discovering the world and your son is kind of like he's able you can't even read the language that's the runes that are on stuff, so you have to have your son read things and it kind of opens up the world more and more as your son like fills out the journal and reads things for you. It's
my
pretty cool.
my brother just put in Twitch chat, "Boy, I hear that a lot.
Yes,
Boy."
that's yeah, that's how I talk to River too. Just kidding, not
Yeah.
really.
Whatever. I You're so nice with those kids, man. I couldn't see you doing that. Oh. Well, so you were asking me what I did. So
Mhm.
I was playing a lot of Vermintide. I haven't put a whole lot of time into it. I need to. I finally got enough courage to get up to the highest difficulty, which is Legend, And dude, I have been getting thrashed, like my butt kicked. Like I used to, so on the previous difficulty, which was champion, um, I would go in there and I'd win. I felt awesome. I was playing the Iron Breaker and I was like doing the sword and board spec where I was just man, I could control a whole horde and a boss and it was awesome. I get into Legend and they're like, no, you're just gonna die now. Like it's insanely harder. So I've tried different
Two
tactics.
words. Get good.
Get good. I know that's exactly it. I've tried. Well, the problem is I feel bad because I tried different tactics and stuff, but then like I feel like I'm bringing down my group, and I'm just like, oh guys, I'm sorry. So I almost want to like start the game apologizing, like, hey man, I haven't had a whole lot of success on this
Oh,
difficulty, guys. I
oh,
apologize.
that's the worst feeling when you're the tank and you suck. Like I can't tank in MMOs because if I fail, I just feel terrible for like 3 days. So
You're like
I
this
take it
dungeon
out.
is, yeah,
Yeah, like
yeah.
I just no, it's not worth the emotional pain. I don't know how you do it.
Oh, dude. You know what's funny you should say that is I love tanking in WoW. Like, actually, speaking of that, tomorrow is patch day 8.0. Um, like 8.0 is going to be awesome. I am so excited to tank. I decided to main a paladin
Mm,
this time. Um, because well it's kind of funny story, so I've got this stupid storyline in my head, like so I played a priest since I started playing, which was back in 2000, what is it, 14, like 2 weeks after WoW came out as I started playing, and I played a priest that entire time. And then in Legion, um I really hate a character that was very integral to the priest quest line, so I started playing warrior, which I really liked, but then I missed healing, so then I was kind of jumping between two characters which I didn't like. So I decided I'm gonna take a priest and a warrior and combine them, and I'm gonna play a paladin. And paladins are looking
mm.
sick. Like I cannot wait. So tomorrow I get to try the new tests, and I get to try the new. Um, my brother's in Twitch chat yelling at me, bro. 2004. Come on. Sorry, Robbie. I'm a noob. So are you seeing that? So Honest Doodle saying, Sea of Thieves. Have you heard about that one? Sea of Thieves.
No.
My brother's been playing a lot of that. They say it's really cool.
What
Um,
kind of game is Sea of Thieves?
well, actually, oh, all I can see is Knuckles. Oh, there it is. Sea of Thieves is like you're a pirate. It's like an MMO pirate game, from my understanding of it. So we should definitely try it out. That'd be fun.
I'd be down with that.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's gaming. I don't get a whole lot of time, so I really cherish the times that I can get on a stream. That's usually about my game time. Um, but I'll be definitely trying to do some tanking when 8.0 comes out. So we'll have to play together sometime.
Yeah, we should do some old school games sometimes, like Gauntlet on Sega Genesis,
Oh, jeez.
or some of those type games. Like, there's such a like they just this they're kind of like life because like the first level is like, oh, that was pretty easy, and then it just gets harder and harder and harder and harder until finally you're like barely able to beat the game with like one hit point left and you just barely eke out the victory.
Yeah,
Like those old programmers just they like I didn't know how much wisdom they had in their programming until I got older. You know what I mean?
well, also, if you think about those old games, those were hard, like Mario. Like if you didn't sit down and beat it in one shot, yeah, start
Oh
over.
yeah, there was
Like,
there was no save state like they
yeah.
have now. Like the kids are spoiled these days. But
Oh, Bonus Doodle in chat says Vampire the Masquerade.
I
Oh,
have
dude.
that. I
That would
got
be,
that.
I remember
I
I absolutely loved. Oh, you know what else? Vampire the Masquerade and Thief. Did you ever play Thief?
I never played Thief, but I actually have Vampire the Masquerade on Galaxy of Games and
Wait.
Neverwinter Nights.
Oh, never. Oh, wait, that was good. But wait, I got it. If we're going old school, we got to do some Castlevania Symphony of the Night. Oh,
Oh, I have that on my PS3, so
dude.
definitely.
We should see if we can get
That,
an emulator to play those. That would be so fun. Oh my gosh.
yeah.
So, well, all right. Let's move on. Next bumper. Do, 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 do. So let's talk about some health stuff. just some topics we cover as far as like besides working out. We believe that when it comes to health, there's mind, body, and soul. So body's obviously working out. So let's talk about the other two for right now. So Zach, you and I have kind of gone down a path as far as a diet goes. Do you want to kind of talk about what you're doing as far as eating goes right now?
Sure. I've been doing this for quite a while now. I don't keep track of time very well. I just kind of follow my intuition on stuff, but this has been working really well and I feel great on it. I got the idea from, it's always a melting pot with me of information that I've got from other people and what I've experienced. Like, I feel like you need to experiment on yourself versus trying to follow the latest studies because there's always going to be some kind of like money train involved in a study. And so, sure, there might be some good information there, but it might not work for everything. It's not going to work for every single person. So you've got to do your own research and you've got to experiment on yourself. So here's some of the things that have worked for me, and by no means would I say they have worked for everyone. And also, I'm not the type of person that's going to judge someone if they don't do what I do, or if they eat McDonald's and Burger King every day and they feel good. Like, more power to you. If that's what you want to do, then and you feel good, then I'm not going to judge you. I do what I do because it makes me feel good, and I expect other people do what they do because it makes them feel good. So, with that being said, what I've been doing is kind of extreme in most people's eyes, I would think. I do intermittent fasting and carb cycling. So, I wake up in the morning. Usually stop eating around 8, 9, 10. I don't really like it, doesn't matter too much to me at night. And then I wake up, have some black coffee with cinnamon in it because that helps to start the ketosis and get your body using the fat stores. And so once I've had that, I go work out on an empty stomach. And this is gonna like this might cause some internet people to freak out, but I don't eat after I work out until 11:30, and I usually work out at like 4:30 in the morning, sometimes 4 to 4:30 in the morning. And no, I don't have a protein shake after I work out. I don't have anything until 11:30 in the morning, or 12 sometimes.
That is going against
And
conventional wisdom right there.
it is, but it's working for me, and I feel good. So
So
it's
you started this diet. I remember when you kind of were kind of putting it together. You and I were talking.
mhm.
What have you noticed on it? Like you say, you feel good, you work, and for me, is there any specifics on this that you've noticed?
um, geez, I've I'm really lean. I'm leaner than I've been in my entire life, I think. And being that I'm 35, that kind of goes against the whole like, oh yeah, you just get fat when you get in your 30s and older, it's and I don't think that's true anymore.
Let me cut in here. I'm sorry, you just said that. My friend Kyle,
Yeah.
he used to say this. He's getting a little bit older. I think he's a little older than us. I don't really know. But he's always working out and stuff. And he's a dad, and he always tells me the reason he works out is he's always fighting the dad bod. He's like, I just don't want a dad bod. So yeah. Anyway, keep going. I'm sorry.
Um, yeah, I have this awesome client who's he's an OB, and his name's Dave, but he's been working with me for over 10 years, and every day he's like, "Yeah, man, you get older, it just sucks more and more." And I'm like, and I just am like trying to like flip his attitude, and I just keep trying to be the example. But he's a great dude. But
Yeah.
anyways, yeah, it's kind of unconventional what I do. So then have my first meal at 11:30 is very fat, heavy protein and fat, and And sometimes I'll eat again at 3:30, more fat and protein, and then I'll eat again uh, at like 6, and that's the first time that I'll have carbs is at 6.
Hmm.
And then but I'll go ham on the carbs at night, and you can see there's it's pretty common with intermittent fasting. In fact, there's this guy who's kind of gotten famous by streaming his nightly meal, and it's like crazy amounts of like sugar, like he's spraying syrup all over his Lucky Charms and Fruity Pebbles. And he
It's,
makes a lot of his own food, but
it
he
sounds
just goes
like
ham.
it sounds like The Rock's epic cheat day I've heard
Yeah,
of.
pretty much. And I go pretty hard with the honey and the dark chocolate,
Hmm.
and like it might sound like I'm a food snob, but really this is just stuff that makes me feel good. And going through what I went through with my gut being all jacked up and having an obstruction at the beginning of this year, like, and not being able to, like, I'm just kind of afraid of that feeling, and so I've been
Yeah.
on the cleaner side, maybe out of fear, maybe out of intuition, maybe a little bit of both. But yeah, it's simply put, no carbs till 6 p.m. and usually my first meal is at 11:30, and it's all fat and protein before 6, and then, you know, I eat pretty clean. And
Yeah.
usually one day a week I'll do a 20 to 24-hour fast on Sunday, and
Yeah.
I stay pretty active too.
I've been doing something similar.
Yeah, what have you been doing, Jake?
Yeah, so I do the whole fats and protein throughout the day and then no carbs until 6. Um, I've been reading a lot about how that, how carbs, the insulin effect and stuff like that. And I
They
really
make you
like that.
sleepy.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and I don't like the idea, like, whenever somebody talks about a diet, the one thing I don't like or I don't agree with is that I have a hard time with is when somebody says I'm completely removing something from my diet, unless it's like heroin. But like, but like like when people say
Yeah.
I've eliminated carbs or I've eliminated fats or low
Uh-huh.
sugar. Well, sugar is a special thing, but I never liked that idea. So what I like about the diet, and you kind of showed introduced this to me. And what was the diet? It was Glow 15. We should pimp
Glow
that.
15 by
Yeah.
Naomi Whittle.
Yeah, that
Shout
was
out to Naomi Whittle and
yeah.
the Ben Greenfield podcast.
Yeah.
Also,
Yeah,
good
yeah.
information there.
Yeah, so anyway, so I like the idea of timing the carbs. It kind of makes more sense to me just in what I've researched. And I've been feeling really good about it, and I feel really good in the mornings and stuff. The other thing I've been experimenting with, and this is interesting, is fasting. So I'll have 4 days, which are called high days, and this is great straight from Glow 15, where I'll eat pretty much just whatever I want. Calories, just fat. My only restriction is no sugar and no carbs until 6. And then Monday, Wednesday, Friday, this is truly interesting. I don't barely eat anything. I basically fast until night. I think I won't eat a dang thing until noon, so like a full, like almost 17-hour fast, and then I'll have an avocado. And I might have two avocados at work, like that's it, and then I'll eat some a light dinner. Um, Now, what's really interesting about that is uh, I find that when I do that, at first it was hard during the fast. Like I was low energy, my brain wasn't working well. But as I've started to do that more and more, my body switches between the 2 days much better. And like today, I felt fine. Like I was very, very low calorie day, and I totally felt fine the whole day. Like I wasn't tired, I wasn't low, I didn't crash. So my body's getting used to that whole fasting thing. And you can do your own research on fasting, and we could probably get into the topic of fasting in itself. But I'm starting to wonder if us having food all the time is not normal, is not balanced. Because this whole podcast
Too
is
much
about
order.
balance. Yeah, exactly. So I wonder if our body fasting and imposing that fast to myself 3 times a week is being super beneficial because I've always struggled with being fat. I've never had a six pack. I've never done that stuff, and I'm finding myself being having more energy now. Um, And actually, this is interesting. My measurements, like around my waist and stuff, are shrinking, but I'm getting heavier. So, and I've noticed at the gym, as you've noticed, you were actually remarking today at the gym, like my lifts are getting better. My
You did a snatch today.
yeah, buddy, dude. No,
I can actually call it a snatch.
not a baby giraffe being born with a barbell in his hands.
Yes,
Ah, so, so, um, I did
you did
overhead squats.
several.
I did overhead
Yeah,
squats. That was the
and
most impressive
you
for
did
me.
several snatches and several overhead squats. It was good.
So
Yeah, that's
anyway, but to
definitely too much order
well, and
with the
today was
food.
my fast day, dude. I was going hard at the gym and I hadn't eaten anything. Like
Yeah.
now to throw this is I'm actually totally switching it. Now in the Glow 15 diet, she said you still on your high days you still work out and fast, right? But dude, I
Hmm.
threw that out the window and I've been experimenting with in the morning I'll eat. So I'll wake up in the morning and I'll actually
Hmm.
eat like 4 eggs and have some coffee with some butter in it and then
Hmm.
go to the gym and just kind of eat throughout the day. So I'm kind of playing with that working out fasted, eating and working out. It's actually really
Yeah,
interesting. So that's kind of what I've been doing with the diet.
gotta experiment, man.
Yeah, and I've been fat my whole life, so if this doesn't work, I can just try something else.
It's a constant. I think your body is just a constant opportunity to fine tune and
Mhm.
figure out what works the best for you. Because what works the best for you isn't going to be what works the best for me.
Yeah. Well, with diets, um, I'm starting to think that it's more again, balance. What is the health? Mind, body, soul, right? Like that's kind of what we talk about here. So a diet also is mental, and they talk a lot about how if you're not eating or you're restricting calories, how you still get the hormones. Your body starts to freak out, think it's starving. You still get those deep hormones of wanting to eat, so that's why sometimes it's really hard to lose weight. um, so I think also about a diet comes into your mentality and what you can handle mentally, not just physically, and that's what's going to help you do the long term. So
Oh yeah,
like for me, I read Tim Ferriss's The 4 Hour Body, and there's some really good information in there. So I've kind of taken stuff from the Glow 15 and 4 Hour Body, and I'm kind of putting them together, like cherry
melting
picking.
pot.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the one thing that Tim Ferriss said that I just absolutely love is he said have a cheat day. He's like have an epic cheat day. He's like take one day a week where you spike your calories, you know, and so for me, it's
Sure.
like Monday, my high days, like in the middle of the week, are just kind of average. I stick really consistent with the discipline, there. And then on my low days, I just don't eat. I fast, I drink a lot of water. And then on Sundays, dude, like that's the only time I'll eat sugar. I have pancakes. I'll eat whatever. I mean, I still won't eat carbs until 6, but I will just, dude, I spike my calories that day, and then it normalizes after that, and that's been hugely beneficial.
That's funny because on Sunday, after I fast all day, I just eat a ton of everything.
I hate it. Angel at the gym said it the best. They do that on Saturday, and her family calls it Fatter Day.
Nice. Her and Jimbo are just awesome,
Dude, those two are awesome. I
by
love
the
those
way.
guys. Yeah. Okay. So that's what we're doing. I guess the thing is you got to listen to your body. Other people have different health needs. Other people have health issues. You got to take all that into effect. But the idea is experiment. Don't give up on. A diet should be the way you eat for the rest of your life and what works for you. Um, and so, do your own research, experiment. Obviously, if you guys have any questions, please ask us. We can always
Hit
talk
us
about.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, by us, we should say Zach. He's the professional. I'm just an idiot doing what he tells
I
me.
am not by no means a professional, but I I will talk to you and try to figure something out that works. So, um,
Awesome. Okay,
al-
before we move on, do you have any other
yeah,
thoughts on that?
along those same lines, I want to talk about programming for a minute, and there's sometimes the numbers on our workouts might seem a little intimidating, especially for people that are brand new to movement practice. And I just want to say there's intent versus numbers. So the intent with working out is to my intent is for you to get sweaty, get tired, and get outside your comfort zone. Numbers don't matter. So I just want to throw that out there. If the numbers ever seem ridiculous, don't let that stop you from joining in. Do whatever makes you have a good workout, whether that's, 5, 10, 15, whatever the numbers are. You don't have to do whatever the workout says. Just the intent is to get a good workout. And then,
What would you say about like what I've said is like I feel like in the beginning when you're first starting to work out and move, um, uh, that you want to do less than you think you can. Like the whole idea is to build the foundation of just doing it, getting in the habit. I mean, even if you do
yeah,
4 squats, do less than you think you can. Don't go for it. Like get a tiny sore. But if you do more than you can, what I worry about is people will get stupid. Like I know there's some times in my life where I would stop working out for like a year or something, right? And then I would go back to the gym and just, but then the next day I'm like, I can't, nobody touch me. Like, you know what I mean? So
yeah.
and I think what really helped me is this last time, when I lost a bunch of weight and then I started doing the CrossFit stuff, um is I started going and I really liked it, but I really took it easy. Like I was just learning the movements and I didn't know what I was doing. I couldn't really go hard. And I think just going every day and just building the habit before I really started going for it really helped. What would you say about that advice?
Well, yeah, that's exactly how you learned, like, how you went from today being able to do an actual snatch, like, without any modification to it. When you started, you couldn't even move a 15-pound bar, and today you're doing 95 pounds.
Yeah.
And and
Oh, go ahead,
yeah,
sorry.
no, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, that's one thing that's so interesting is when I was younger, it was all about the weight. Like I didn't want to do
Well, yeah,
lightweight. And but now that I've, in my old age, I'm 34, but well, I'm 33,
so
34 in August. But as I've gotten older, I really wanted to take care of myself and not get injured. And I've said this to you when I'm doing squats or when I'm doing the weight. Like I've given myself that time and that repetition, and it's slowly starting to come to me. And I start to feel like a language. Like I'm almost becoming more in tune with
body
my body.
language.
Yeah, body language. Like I'm almost becoming more in tune with my body where I can feel the motion. Where before it just felt like I was trying to do stuff, but now I can feel all the little muscles activate. It's a very weird feeling I've never really dealt with before. It's interesting.
That's interesting you say that because I use that analogy all the time when I'm teaching new people how to do the Olympic weightlifting movements, snatch and clean and jerk and squat. I tr- People get frustrated when they can't do things.
Oh,
They're like, "Oh, I'm so stupid. I
there's so
can't
much
do
going
this."
on. Like
And I'm like,
you're doing
"Yeah."
bad, but you can't stop it. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
And I'm like, you if you feel bad, like you feeling bad about not being able to do this on day one would be like if a baby felt bad about not being able to walk when it just barely was able to like get the strength to get up on its feet. Like it's not it's in or like someone who just barely started their first Spanish class not being able to be fluent in Spanish. Like it's a process. um, I always say give it a good 5 years before you start to get critical with yourself, and then before you
Yeah.
get critical with yourself, give it another 5 years, then give it another. Like it's the reason why it's such a cool sport, weightlifting and gymnastics and all this stuff that we're practicing, is because it's a lifetime practice, and the more you practice, the more you're going to learn the ins and outs of that language, as you say.
Yeah.
So,
You
what
know, it's so
do
true
you know
because
any other languages, Jake?
just well, I barely know English, so so no, but I did want to say something. that is probably the hardest thing, and until I've experienced it, I can't quite it, I couldn't quite explain it or believe it. But what you said there is give yourself 5 years. I've been doing the CrossFit and the Olympic lifts for 1 year now, and I'm starting to get it. Like before it felt out of control and I knew I was doing it wrong. But now I don't know how to explain it other than it's like my body, I can feel it. I can feel the movements coming, you know? And and so again, just we've talked about these are more complicated movements, but I just want to go back to like even like a squat, even like that, like you know, don't be frustrated if all you can do is chair squats. I love one guy that I look up to a lot and I follow on social media and stuff is Tony Horton from P90X. And the one thing he says, and I just love this guy, is he says, forget he says,
Oh yeah,
do your best and forget the rest. And I love that saying so
very
much
good
because
advice.
you hear it and you know that advice, but actually following it is hard. But as I've started to, I think CrossFit, we have a really good gym we go to, and I think we've lucked out because I've heard some horror stories. But
Yeah.
I think it's my only experience. But with the people and stuff there, they've really allowed me to um, really just worry about myself and not compete, but compete when I can, like something I can do. I don't know, it's interesting, but just giving myself that time to understand and feel those movements become better. So anyway, my point is when you're at home doing these squats, doing the movements that we're talking about, just do that. Like if you're watching me or you're watching Zach and you're not able to do quite that, and we're going to try to have other people on that are less, at a lesser level, but don't worry about it because again, it's like just just doing a couple squats during your game time, you're way ahead of anybody else.
Yeah, you're way ahead of someone that just sat there the entire time.
Yeah.
Also, we're planning on putting some YouTube videos up where we go through the the scaled versions of all of our movement that we'll be practicing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
stay tuned for that. And if you have any requests, just hit us up. You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. If you have any questions, if you see us do something. Um okay, just moving on a little. I want to talk about, so we're talking about workouts. One thing that I'd like to talk about, Zach, is the difference between injury and atrophy. Um, I know you've seen me this, so seen me dealing with this these last couple of months actually with my back. Um,
Hmm.
it's kind of interesting because but I've had back problems my whole adult life where my lower back, what happens is one of my vertebrae, and the lowest one will pop out and then I can't walk. And I get
No
so
bueno.
yeah, I get so frustrated with it. So I used to just stop, but now I've really been discovering that the problem is if I just stop and lay down and don't do anything, stop my movement. I'm trying to get it to heal. Is the idea because you don't want to re-injure it. But now I'm really finding there's a line between re-injury and atrophy. Like it'll take way longer for it to heal if you just don't do anything. But then also if you do too much, you'll re-injure it. So Zach, you're a personal trainer. You've done a lot with that. What is your thoughts on that?
Um, yeah, you've once you injure something, you're not only dealing with the physical pain of it, but you're also going to deal with the memory, like the emotional attachment to it, and your brain's just memory of that, and it's trying to protect you from injuring it again. So one of the first things you have to do is move so that you can start letting yourself know that, hey, this is going to be okay. We had, we messed this up a little bit. We're going to keep moving. We can't stop moving because then we don't have freedom anymore. But if we can move in a way that's not going to hurt anything, we're going to do that. And then we're going to figure this whole thing out with the injury and hopefully find a way to strengthen that area in a way that that never happens again.
Yeah, and that's one thing I've been working on with my back. And
Yeah.
as I've kept moving, I always whenever I'm working on it with an injury, like Tony Horton says, you always work around the injury.
Hmm.
And so I always do less than I think I can, and I never push it. And when I'm injured and I'm working out, if I'm working out around that area, whatever it is, like my back, I won't even go for get a sweat on. I'm just going to get the blood moving a little. And
Yeah.
I found that I heal twice as fast, number one. Number two, my setback is less. So my if I just stop, then everything goes to crap. But if I don't stop, then how much I got set back on all my goals is less. And number three, it's like you said, a mental thing. I'm like, I can do this. I can get through this. I'm not just hurting and pissed.
Yeah, it's really impressive to see you in the gym doing the amount of like rehabilitative and like accessory type stuff that you're doing for your shoulders and your back. Like that's another analogy that I kind of wanted to talk about, like in Office Space when the dude just says that he's just doing enough to keep his job, right?
Yeah.
He's not trying to like he just wants to keep his job. He's not trying to do anything amazing. And that's unfortunately, I think that's the thought process that most people have in regards to staying alive. They just do what they need to stay alive, the minimum work requirement. But when I see someone like you, like that, you're doing like the work requirements that it's going to take to progress. You know what I mean? So
Thank you.
something to keep in mind with your career and with your health and how you move your body and practice moving in different ways. Like you you got to keep in mind that the minimum work requirements, like anybody can do that. Let's get some progression going in your career, in your health, in your fitness, in your movement, and we're here to help with that.
Yeah, man. Well, we're coming up on time. I don't want to go over. I think one thing we should talk about next episode, what you just said to lead into next episode, is we need to talk about extreme ownership, because no, seriously, when it comes down to,
Jocko.
yeah, not making excuses, and well, when it comes down to getting things done, most people make excuses. So if we talk, yeah, we should talk about that extreme ownership next time.
I read that book.
Yeah, I'm still working on it. The funny thing is I need to read that book, and I chastise myself every day. But then every day I listen to podcasts about World of Warcraft on the way to from work because I'm so excited about the new expansion. So I'll get there. I'll get there. I
I
promise.
need to listen to it again because
Oh,
Leif Babin sounds like Texas Batman, and Jocko's voice is really good too.
oh,
But
that's
yeah,
funny.
great book.
Okay, okay. Well, I think that's it. Did you have any closing thoughts, my friend?
um, shoot. I mean,
Sheet,
shoot.
sheet, sheets.
Follow us on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. On Facebook, we are Geekfit. YouTube, we're Geekfit MinMax IRL. And Twitch,
Spelled super
G
annoying.
33K F1T. Yeah.
Awesome.
So,
And just to sign off, guys, have a good evening, everyone. And remember, grow stronger in the chaos.
and stay consistent.
Awesome. Thanks, everybody. We'll talk to you later.
Thank